Hi Sunshine Fam, I'm back again. I have decided that since I cannot do editing software, and I've been promising you this video forever, that I'm just going to go ahead and do this video like I did the last video with the Vicodin. And I'm just going to film this off of my computer. Now, the quality isn't going to be the greatest, but, and some of the clips are going to be, because I went back to look at them, one clip, I think the reason it kept getting stalled is because the clip is screwed up or something. Because when I watched it, it like stopped at a certain point, and even though the counter was still going, it's like it stuck at one certain spot. So when I get to that point, then I'm just gonna click forward on the video. I know I look like crap right now. I hate my high forehead. But anyway, to give you a little indication as to what this video is about, this is the Northern Minnesota video. So, does this give you any indication? So, I'm just going to go ahead and film this and upload this for you. So, hope you guys enjoy this Northern Minnesota video that I am finally giving to you guys. This was recorded over a year ago in August, so it's been almost 2 years actually, since this is the beginning of June. So this is a 2-year-old video. So in any case, I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you. Hope you enjoy it. Let me get this flipped around. Okay. Okay. Hey Sunshine Fam, welcome back to another video. For those of you that are new, my name is Chloe and thank you for joining the Sunshine Fam today. Today I am taking you on a long road trip to northern Minnesota, a small town that is famous for a famous person. We're also traveling back in time today, so I don't want to give away too much at my intro here, but this person, I will admit she is an actress, and for some reason she is very near and dear to my heart. I never met her, but I'm going to go up there and see why she means so much to me. She was in some very famous movies way back when. Most of you that are watching this probably have never heard of most of them. My guess is you probably have seen at least one movie that she made. So with that, we're going to go on this road trip, and when you see me next, I will be in this small little town in northern Minnesota. See you in a bit. Okay guys, after a 3-hour very long drive to northern Minnesota, way past Mille Lacs Lake, I am standing in front of a very famous house. The person that lived here was named Frances Gumm. Now you're thinking, I thought you said this person was famous. Well, she was. She was very famous. She left this house when she was 4 years old. She was known as Frances Gumm here. But later in life, she changed her name to Judy Garland. That's right, the one from Wizard of Oz played Dorothy. That's not the only movie she was in. She was in many, many different movies. Now, a little bit about Judy's life. She was married 5 different times. She has 3 kids from 2 different men. One you probably know is Liza Minnelli, and the other 2, you may know her other daughter by the name of Lorna Luft if you saw Grease 2. She's the one that played Paulette in Grease 2. That was Judy Garland's daughter. And she also has a son named Joey. I don't know much about Joey. I don't know if he ever went into show business or not. Liza and Lorna are, of course, still alive and very much into show business. But I'm going to go into the museum. I'm not sure if they're going to let me film. I had asked them if I could film a video up here, and they said they prefer that I don't. But we'll see. We'll see if I can get away with maybe showing you a few things inside the museum. But this is her home, and so hopefully this won't be a short video. Hopefully I can show you some things inside the home, or inside the museum. Sorry, it's a little breezy. I was trying to find a spot where the wind wasn't coming through. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can show you some things inside the museum, and maybe inside this house as well. So we'll see you in a bit.
4 women on the road, unheard of at that time.
Not much road either.
Not much road.
That's right.
They had a gig in Denver, and they were performing there at the World's Fair at their venue, and the place folded, and they didn't get paid. So they'd been singing for a couple of weeks and didn't get paid.
Oh my gosh.
So they were moping in their soup at the hotel. They met these people on the bill at the Oriental Theater, which was the best show at the World's Fair. And they auditioned, got on the bill, and that's where George Jessel, the master of ceremonies, noticed when he introduced them a couple times, there was a little laughter in the audience, some giggles.
About their name.
Yeah, Gumm sisters, kind of rhymes with glum and dumb and crumb. But in fact, they were billed once by accident on a movie marquee, the Glum sisters. So she could make snow angels, because she was the master snow angel. Well, she's her friend Maggie. But anyway, so Oz was really, we could say, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for Oz. Back then they made no fantasy films. It was unheard of. Not even in the 1940s. There were no fantasy films. But Disney released Snow White in 1937. In full Technicolor. It was a huge hit. So then MGM said, okay, when they've proven it, now we can do Wizard of Oz. They bought the screen rights for the book from Samuel Goldwyn for $75,000. He turned a nice profit. So then they spent $3 million on the movie in 1938-39.
Is that the same Samuel Goldwyn that he got the big movie?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot for back then.
Yeah, what's that inflation adjusted?
Yeah, well, figure 4% a year average. Here's Dorothy's test dress. You can see how tiny she was. Judy was 4'11".
She was 4'11"?
Yeah. Just a tiny person.
Oh, wow, that was...
16 during the filming, 17 when it was released.
That's the actual stagecoach from Wizard of Oz.
No. Yeah, that's what they astounded everyone, because as a child she could belt out these adult torch songs. You know. There were probably 6 of these made, 6 stream-worn dresses. They tested hair colors, dresses, hairstyles. They made Dorothy a blonde for a while, because in the book, Dorothy, that was a creation of 2 men who wrote Over the Rainbow, Carol Darling and Ian Harper. They like to swim during the day and then work at night.
Sounds pretty awesome.
So was that song written from the...
Yeah, and it was written.
It's strictly new.
Yeah,
It was strictly wood. Queen Elizabeth.
Ja, how poignant, huh?
All the beautiful people. Oh.
She was gorgeous. Oh my God.
Eddie Lamar.
I think before I introduce Dorothy Nicole, the house is completely restored. in town and help teapots. Anyway, they were instrumental because there was nothing left of the 20s. I mean, zero. It had been remodeled so many times. It was just.
Oh, they were able to give recollection of what it had been?
Like how the piano faced, what kind it was, where the sewing machine stood, the French doors, which were long gone.
Sure.
And then when 2 or 3 of them said the same thing, you know for sure.
That's probably correct.
Yeah. But here's Mom. They taught her how to sing Jingle Bells. The older girls pinned Holly Sprigs all over her Christmas. And they gave her a little dinner bell. And out on her dad's stage she went. Christmas 1924.
Oh my gosh.
Would not get off. Chorus after
She was her
chorus.
ham.
Grandma Eve was in the audience. Get off, baby. Frank, her dad's in the wings. Get off. He had to go out. She said, I want to sing some more. Quoted us saying that.
Wow.
He had to
Black
go
Belt Hook.
Yeah,
I
right.
know, because
throw her over his shoulder. Tried to get her salt on her. Judy said, we all look like cocker spaniels. But, well, as I mentioned, 26, they went to California, 7 years vaudeville, on the road, World's Fair. He made 32 movies. His career with MGM ended in 1950. She was making 6,000 a week. Huge amount. Then her 1,100 concerts, the TV show. But what people are astounded with, after all this, where's the money? Where did all the money go? It was gone. She had no money. She was married to her 5th husband. He had no money. They lived in London. What happened is, Judy herself was a lavish spender, had no concept of money. She and her 3rd husband, Sid, had 5 servants. Now, why would you need 5 servants in your house? She had 5 husbands, some of whom liked their fancy suits and betting on the horses at Santa Anita. And then basically what was left, David Beagleman and Freddie Fields stole.
Okay, so these are a replica of the ruby red slippers. I thought the originals were here, but here's a picture of the original dress. And here's, I'm guessing, the original dress. This is the coolest thing. This is the actual carriage from the movie. But it says, stay off because an alarm will sound. So we're not going to go on there. But this is the sheet music for Over the Rainbow, which almost wasn't. Oh, look at this. Summer Over the Rainbow, which released in 1939 to commemorate sales of more than 1 million copies. Wow. Look at all the stats there. 60 sets were created, 500 carpenters, 150 laborers, and 20 scenic artists. Wow, that is amazing. These must be the original shoes here. Oh, check this out. Like if you move to one side or another, it shows different. It's like a hologram. And she was always good friends with Mickey Rooney. They'd gone to school together. And then this is Spear. pause the video and read all that. Very cool.
Keep your hands at your sides and please do not touch.
And here's another outfit that she wore, original.
And then you can go back to the art room if there's some extra time.
If you can read that, it says white fox coat and eggshell silk evening skirt worn by Judy Garland. Originally from the collection of noted designer Howard Shoup. Very cool. Alright folks, this is where I'm going to end my video here, but I just wanted to show you I am on the northwest side of...
Sorry guys, I skipped a
Okay
spot.
guys, so there you have it, the Judy Garland Museum and her birthplace home. The I was very careful when I was taking video in there, because like I said, I had written them before I came up here, and they preferred that I don't do a video, but I snuck in a few videos anyway, so this is a very edited video. And I think on the way back home, I'm going to show you, because I'm going to be driving by Lake Mille Lacs, which is a huge lake. I don't know the size wise as far as like where it ranks in the largest lakes of Minnesota, but I think it's going to be bigger than Lake Minnetonka, which I showed you in the Wayzata video. But yeah, so when I first got here, unfortunately I dropped my camera, so hopefully it was working. It looked like it was, but yes, the ruby red slippers, the two pairs that I showed you in there are replicas. They are not the originals. There were only 4 pairs that they were known of. One is at the Museum of the Academy Awards in California. Another pair is in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. One pair is with the FBI right now because the person that stole them back in 2005, they just recently recovered them in 2018, and the gentleman that they caught them with has been indicted, so his trial starts on October 2nd in, what did they say, North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, I think, or Minot, North Dakota, something like that. Because there's a conflict of interest here. So the FBI has the pair that they did have, which was an original pair, and the 4th pair is owned by a private person. So there were 4 pair that they knew of, but the dress that I showed you in there with that was behind glass, that was the original dress for the screen test. So very, very cool. And of course, some of the other costumes you saw in there and the other outfits were original to Judy Garland. She was born in 1922, so that would make her 101 years old this year if she had lived, but she died in 1969 in London, actually, from a accidental barbiturate overdose. And she was flown back to the United States. They cremated her body. I don't think I videotaped that part where the gentleman was talking about that. They cremated her body, and nobody could pay the funds to get her interred. And so Frank Sinatra ended up pulling out his checkbook and wrote a check to have her ashes interred in the cemetery where all the stars are buried. And the guy said that it would be equivalent to like $210,000 today. And that was back in 1968, so, or 69 rather. So she was known as Frances Gumm in this house. This is not the original spot where the house stood. It was actually, they said, closer to downtown. I don't know this area at all. I've never been up here. But this is Grand Rapids, Minnesota. And they moved the house twice, once in 1939, I think they said, 38 or 39, and then again in 97, I think, is when they put it on this lot here. So very interesting information about Judy Garland and her sisters. You can find a video on YouTube here showing one of their first performances with the Gumm sisters. So if you type in the Gumm sisters, Gumm sisters, it will show you that clip of when they were in vaudeville when Judy was like 4 or 5 years old, with her performing with her sisters. So very cool place. I would definitely recommend a trip up here. It's way north Minnesota. It's about 3 hours north of Minneapolis. It's west of Duluth, but I'm not sure how far from Duluth it is. But probably about an hour and a half, maybe. So, and then on the way up here, I thought my phone was plugged in, and I was getting close to the museum, and my phone kept turning off, and then I realized that it hadn't been plugged in. So now I got to make sure that it stays plugged in on my trip home. So, but to get here from the Minneapolis area, you just go up Highway 169 most of the way. Right now, parts of 169 are closed down, so I would say Google Map it. But this is called the Judy Garland Museum, and it's right across from a place called Super One Foods off of 25th Street South and 169. And it's right past a lake. So, not Lake Mille Lacs, but we're way north of Lake Mille Lacs. Lake Mille Lacs is about halfway between Minneapolis and here. So, I'm going to be driving back home now, but I will try to film a little bit of Lake Mille Lacs on my trip home. And so I will probably do my outro at Lake Mille Lacs. Okay, so thanks for joining me on this adventure today, and we'll see you at Lake Mille Lacs. Alright folks, this is where I'm going to end my video here, but I just wanted to show you I am on the northwest side of Lake Mille Lacs, and this is one of the bigger lakes of Minnesota, and you can see it's very breezy outside, which is why I'm sitting in my car right now, but you can see how massive this lake is. This is only a very small portion of the lake. You can see over here there's land that kind of goes in a little bit, but if you look straight across, you can't see no land. It's almost like a freaking ocean, I suppose. For those of you that are in Amarillo, this is a lake. There is a dock over here, but I think it's a private dock, and I can see out there. Let me see if I can zoom in on them. There, let's see if it'll focus in on the dock here instead of the tree. I don't see that it's doing that. There we go. Alright, so if you see on the right hand of your screen, there's a bunch of white stuff on that dock. Those are all seagulls. Yep, we got seagulls in Minnesota too. So I am now about in the middle of the state. And if you look at a map of the state of Minnesota, you will see a big lake right in the middle of the state. That's where I am. This is Lake Mille Lacs. And right across the street here, I filled up this morning with gas at $3.89. But if we look across the street here, look at how cheap the gas is up here. $3.59. That 409 is for diesel. And so now you can read on the sign about where I'm at. So this is Highway 169. But this is the beautiful Lake Mille Lacs, which is much bigger than Lake Minnetonka. There's a guy coming at me with a golf cart. I don't know if he's going to stop me or not. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end my video here. So thanks for joining me today in northern Minnesota. And we'll see you guys on the next one. You have a sunny day. Okay, so I have a little bit of an update about those shoes. So originally, the shoes that the museum had, hang on, I'm trying to, give me a second, sorry. The shoes that the museum originally had belonged to a citizen. He had bought the shoes from, I'm guessing, MGM, which is the studio that Judy Garland was signed with back in the day. So they did have obviously this was done back in 2022, and it is now 2025, so you can see it's been almost 3 years that I did this video. But they did do the trial. Surprisingly enough, what they mentioned there when I was going through the museum was that there were at least 2 people that broke into the museum. They must have gone through the museum tour before and realized that they had the original ruby red slippers, and there were a lot of rumors going around about what happened to them. They were able to break into the museum, smash the pedestal or the glass case that they were under with a hammer, and stole the shoes and got out with it all within about 45 seconds, I believe it said. I did film that sign, and I know I went by it kind of quick, so I don't know if you're able to pause the video when I went back to the shoes and then I scrolled back down on the sign. It tells the whole story of the theft of the original shoes. They had found the shoes in 2018, and they were actually found in Minneapolis. One of the people that was involved in the robbery, I don't know if many of you guys would remember that don't live in Minnesota, but there used to be a comedian. He since has passed away. He was a very large comedian, and his name was Louis Anderson. And it was his brother that was one of the people that that was involved in stealing these shoes, because he is an artist thief. He steals very expensive art collections, not just paintings, but obviously the shoes. And they found out that he was one of the people involved in stealing Judy Garland's shoes. Now, there was a lot of rumors. They were stolen back in 2005. So that was 20 years ago. And they weren't recovered until 2018. I don't know how they found them. I don't remember that part of it. But since this video was made, they did have the trial. And I did read bits and pieces of it because I knew I would eventually have to put it in this video. So they did have the trial. The man that was found with the shoes, there was rumors that they had actually thrown the shoes in the lake. Not Lake Mille Lacs, but there's another lake up there, and I should have looked it up before I started this video, but there's another lake up there. I mean, freaking 10,000 lakes in Minnesota, 13,000. But there's a lake in town, and they thought that maybe the shoes were in the bottom of the lake. So they had dredged that lake a lot, sent divers down and everything looking for these shoes, thinking that they would have to do some major renovations because they were real rubies that they had on the shoes, if I remember right. Which is what made them so valuable. The shoes, I think, are worth $1 million or more, probably more by now. And as you heard in the video, there's only 4 known existing shoes that Judy wore for the movie. They made multiple shoes. It wasn't just one pair. So they're not sure exactly how many pairs of shoes they originally made for the movie, but today, there are 4 known original shoes that Judy Garland wore for Wizard of Oz. And these just happen to be one of them. And I told you in the video where the other ones are located. So once the trial was over, the man that stole them was found incompetent to, well, no, I guess he didn't really have the trial, because if I remember right, the guy was too old, and he's getting a little senile. I think he's like in his 80s or something now. And they found that he was incompetent to stand trial. So I think they originally sent him to jail waiting for trial, and then when they found that he wasn't of sound mind to do trial, then they let him go. I don't remember if they said that he died. I can't tell you what his name was. It wasn't Louis Anderson's brother that was found with the shoes. So I don't know if Louis Anderson's brother was part of the trial or if it was just the guy that actually had the shoes, that actually did the theft. I think Louis Anderson's brother was like maybe the lookout or something. But I know he was somehow involved. And so everybody was hoping that the shoes would be returned to the museum, but the person that actually owns the shoes is a civilian as well. So the shoes got returned to that person and they decided to hold on to the shoes for protection. So now there's two original pairs of ruby red slippers that were used in Wizard of Oz that are with everyday, like citizens. The FBI released them to the owner of the shoes, and that person kept them. I don't know, male, female, I don't know. I think it was a male that owned the shoes that used to be in the museum. And so then the other two pairs of shoes you couldn't see if you go to Washington, D.C. One pair is in the Smithsonian, and if you go to Hollywood, the other pair is in the MGM Museum that has a lot of artifacts from the different movies and stuff. But I really found this place very fascinating because, like, the spear that was behind glass, that was originally in the movie. The carriage, I think, was the coolest part of the whole thing. That was the original carriage used in the movie. And they set it up on like a turnstile that had like glass on the bottom. And as you heard me say, it says on here, do not cross this line or an alarm will go off. They put that in after the shoes were stolen to prevent anybody from taking even a piece of that carriage off of there. So they do have an alarm on that carriage in case somebody's thinking of going in and trying to steal any part of that. But this is up in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, which is, I want to say it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours west of Duluth and about 3 hours northwest of Minneapolis. So it is quite a drive from the Twin Cities, but it was so worth it. And I just went up there for the day. When I went through the gift shop, which is where I got this, they did say that Lorna Luft and Joey have actually visited the museum many times. Liza Minnelli refuses to go into the museum. And I think they said that she kind of had a falling out with her mom in later years before her mom died, but shortly before her mom died. But yet she, in interviews that she did, like back in the 70s and maybe 80s, after her mom had passed away, she spoke very highly of her mother. So why she would not want to go and visit her mother's birthplace, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe for privacy reasons, because she is so well known. Little known fact about Liza Minnelli, Freddie Mercury adored her. And so during the Queen, or the Freddie Mercury tribute concert or memorial concert that the rest of Queen put on like a few months after Freddie's death at Wembley Stadium in London, they did have different people singing the songs of Queen on that video, or at that concert. You can watch that video on YouTube as well. And the last person to sing was Liza Minnelli. And he just absolutely adored Liza Minnelli. And so yeah, little known fact about Liza Minnelli, who was Judy Garland's daughter, or who is, I keep saying was, like they're dead, but she is Judy Garland's daughter. And if any of you have ever seen, I know I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but if any of you guys have ever seen the movie Grease 2, the girl that played Paulette in Grease 2, that is Lorna Luft, and that is also Judy Garland's daughter. And I don't know anything about Joey. I don't think he got into show business as much as the daughters did. I know Lorna Luft I think she wrote a book and then they made it into a movie called My Mother and Me or something, Judy and Me or something. It was her memories of her mother, and I think she actually does the narration of it, but it is actually like a movie, so they have actors and stuff in it, and then every so often you'll hear like a voiceover, and that is actually Lorna Luft's voice. And it was how she remembered her mom, and so it's really quite an interesting movie. I think you can find that also on YouTube here too. So I just wanted to share this with you since I have been promising this to you for like, what 2 years, 3 years almost. So I wanted to share this video with you. Again, I know the quality wasn't the greatest, but it's the only way right now that I can get these videos that would have to be edited to you. If you want me to continue to do that, I do still have a few that I can get into to show you. Some of them are from when Silver Star and Fay Wolf and I went to San Diego in last year, right around this time actually. I think we went in April, and some of those are from like the San Diego Zoo. That was a story in and of itself, trying to find the red panda. And I did a couple of them in Balboa Park, one of the Automotive Museum. That one would be very short because the Automotive Museum isn't nearly as cool as it was when I went there in 2015, or no, 2012, when I went there in 2012, because they didn't have the same cars in there. And there was also one that I did in the Air and Space Museum, and that one was really very cool. They actually have, well, I won't ruin it for you. But one of the vehicles they have in the Air and Space Museum is not an air vehicle. It's not a space vehicle. But it made me very emotional to see this vehicle. I mean, I was surprised at how I reacted to this vehicle. So, but if you want me to continue doing these videos just to get them out to you guys, the ones that would have to be edited, just know that the quality isn't going to be as good, because I will have to film them off my computer. Because for right now, I'm just going to forego getting the editing software. So this is how you're going to have to see them. So if you still want me to do that, comment below. Let me know that you want to see them that way. And then I will continue to upload the videos this way. But they'll be slow in coming because I'm working full-time and a little more than full-time right now, and so my days off are very limited. So I just wanted to get this one out to you because I've been promising it to you for so long, and I wanted you guys to see it. So with that, there's no place like home. And even though Judy was known mostly for Wizard of Oz, she was in a lot of other movies. One of them happened to be the original, A Star is Born. I'm sure when I was panning around, I think I was showing you the dress with the faux fur on top. Off to the side, you can see a poster of her like this that says A Star is Born. And gosh, I can't even remember. She was in Broadway Melody. Was it Broadway Melody or Broadway Lullaby? Broadway Melody, I think. And she was in a movie with Clark Gable, who is known for Gone with the Wind. She adored Clark Gable, and she wrote a song. I don't know if it was in that movie no, because she was a child in that movie. And in the movie that she was in with Clark Gable, she was older. She was also in Easter Parade. She was in Clang, Clang, Clang with the Trolley. Trying to think, was that in Easter Parade? It may have been. I don't know. She was in so many different movies. You can IMDb it to find out which movies that she was in. But she was in a lot of different movies. She starred in several of them with Mickey Rooney. And you heard me talk about their friendship growing up. They never were married. I don't think they ever dated. But they were very close friends. And up until Mickey Rooney had passed away, he spoke very highly of Judy Garland, or as she was originally known as Frances Gumm. A lot of the actresses back then were forced to change their name. There was a movie that was made back in the 1970s that's called Rainbow, and you can also find that on YouTube. It starred Andrea McArdle, who was the original Annie on Broadway. And she's the one that played Judy Garland. So a lot of, it was from when she was first discovered, not as like a little girl, but you'll just have to watch the movie. But it kind of goes through from when she went from vaudeville to when she got Wizard of Oz. She talks about how she almost lost out Wizard of Oz to Shirley Temple in that movie. So that movie is also very historical. And so I would definitely recommend looking that movie up too, because you'll get to know a little bit more about Judy Garland's life through that. So, and that one's called Rainbow, starring Andrea McArdle as Judy Garland. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I will try to get out this summer to do some more newer Adventures with Chloe videos. I have one place in mind that's closer to downtown Minneapolis. I might invite Silver Star and or Sea Dog to join me out there. It's a very famous place that I'm sure everybody has heard of. But I'm thinking of going there, and it's free of charge. But I'd have to go on a nice day because it's outdoors. Can't think of anything else I was going to talk to you guys about. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video about Judy Garland and her life, her early life, and seeing inside of her house. One of the clips that I did have to click off of when I scrolled over to the piano, that's where it kind of got stuck. And more of that clip was more of the inside of her house. I walked upstairs to the crib that she slept in there, because she was very young when she left there, 3 or 4, I think, when she left that house. And she and her sisters would perform for her. Her mother would sit at that piano. Maybe it wasn't that exact piano, but that's kind of where the piano was sat. And then there was like a landing on the stairs. So you'd walk up a couple stairs, and then the stairs would turn to go up. And there was like a little landing there so that her and her sisters would perform on that landing. And her mom and dad would invite their friends over, and the girls would perform for their parents' friends in the house. So it was really very neat walking in the footsteps of young baby Gumm, they called her, Frances Gumm, who later obviously became Judy Garland. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You have a sunny day. Bye.